This evening I'm out at our neighbor's field down the road where we've did potatoes in the past and garlic for a couple of years now, for 4 years. This is our fourth growing season here. And I'm doing some mowing in the walkways next to the garlic field. It's slow and steady, but I'm using a little electric push mower with this really rad bag that lets me collect clippings. We haven't had rain in a while, so I'm trying to harvest some mulch from on site and do some help in maintaining the laneways in here as well. So I just come out with a battery or two, do a little bit in the evenings, and then mulch amongst the garlic. I thought in case anybody was interested, we'd do an update on how the garlic's growing at the beginning of a lovely season that's transitioning slowly and steadily into a bit more of a drought scenario, and what folks could expect for seed. I think we're on to a good start, hopefully. You can see each of the rows have a very different feel. This is all hardneck. This is soft neck. They tend to be smaller and lighter in color anyway. There's our elephant garlic, pretty high density spacing, but they seem content. And then a bit more hardneck than elephant, switching back and forth. In the middle between these sets of garlic, we did plant other seeds. I think there was English walnut, there was chestnut, and there were peaches. And I think between the winter and then the really intense frost that we had recently, here I can see a little peach popping up. There's another peach. There might be more that come up. But I think it's gotten dry enough, and that might have been a hard enough moment that I'm not so sure that there's going to be a huge plume of tree seed abundance in the middle of these beds. But there's some. I see over here, little chestnut friends. There could be a lot more, but there's at least a few. But the garlic itself is sizing up in a really nice way, despite the fact that it's getting dry. Each year when we plant in the fall, we try to mulch as much as we can. We did our initial mulching with some bedding from a chicken farm situation nearby and laid that down. We mulched with leaf bags in the fall when those were available. We put hay on top of that. So there's layers and layers of mulch. And I think the garlic really appreciated that for the winter. None of them seem to freeze, expand and pop out. And for being the end of May, I'm really pleased with the size of the stalks. I think the game plan now, since there is not really much promise of rain from up above, what we need to do is work on the conservation game and get as much mulch as we can. Definitely in the walkways where there's no vegetation happening, but then in and amongst the garlic, and that's where the grass clippings do a great job. It's slow and it's painstaking, but I think the plants will appreciate it. Here you can see yesterday I put a whole bunch of clippings down. The soil's dry underneath, but at least it won't be experiencing more intense drying. And, well, there's a rock. But the soil itself is still decent. Looks like there we go. Wasn't focusing. Still a little bit of moisture, but not much, not much. So the game plan now is just how do we hold on to what we can so the garlic can form up. And by mulching the pathways really thoroughly, if we did get an intense rain out of nowhere, instead of having the water run down through the pathways, it will hopefully inundate and soak into the grass clippings and release nutrients into the beds, hold on to more of the water. In the winter, sometimes we dig the walkways out a little so that the excess water can shed. But this time of year, if we got an inch of rain out of nowhere, I would love to have every last drop hold in the walkways. So until the light fails this evening, that'll be my work, is mowing and collecting. It seems in a way kind of silly to use a push mower in a field, but it is such an immense value in being able to mulch with this fine detail and be able to get in between the garlics. This is pretty darn hard you clearly can't dump wood chips right on there. Compost would get too dry right now, and hay flaked out would be very hard to get in between the plants. So the grass clippings are what I'm going to use. But this is our garlic field right now, all managed by hand for the most part, and no irrigation, no fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, just compost and mulch, and selecting for good quality garlic over the years. This will be, for better or worse, hopefully for better, what we will be offering for seed this summer. We'll share notes as we get closer to that. But so far, as long as we do the work now to conserve as much moisture as possible and set things up to receive a heavy rain if that's what comes in a graceful and holding way, I think the garlic should still be able to size up into a nice crop. I guess if it gets really dry, it'll be easier to cure it and dry it, so that's convenient. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know if you got any questions, and hope your plants are growing well wherever you are.